Now, one of the caveats or important details that's worth considering is earlier on I mentioned that if the way that the notes are stored on the kind of the file hierarchy or the organization system is that the um, project will cause a directory of that name to be created, and then the relevant note UUID stored under that. Um, and obviously the file type as well, whatever that setting is, whether it's txt or md or org or c or whatever the file extension is, obviously if we change that, then that's going to necessitate a change in the file extension. So basically, if either the file type or the project metadata changes, that will change the underlying location of the note on disk. Now, you don't have to worry about that because obviously Wibble takes care of it and automatically moves everything, but it is just worth being aware of. So let's have a look here. So if I do a tree of the notes directory, we can see at the moment the this note here, the another test with note ID 3FC482, this ID here, we can see that it exists. Here we go under this part of the tree here. So txt general 3f as the kind of directory prefix, and then the UUID of the note, and then .txt at the end there. So if we were to change either the file extension and or this category from general, it's going to end up changing the way that this is structured on disk here. So basically it's not going to be on, if we change the txt to a different extension, it's going to be under a different subdirectory for the extension, and if we change general as well, then it's going to be under a different project subdirectory. So let's go ahead and just demonstrate that by changing both of those, or both at the same time. So we'll bring up the existing note again and not view the metadata, we'll edit the metadata. And I'm going to leave the title the same. We're going to change the file type to let's just say org for the sake of argument. It's not an org file yet, but let's change it to that. Leave the description the same. Project, let's change this project to a example project. Okay, leave all the rest the same. And you get this warning here, so file type is changed from txt to org. This will result in renaming the file. Project is changed from general to example project. This will result. So it's just letting you know that basically the underlying file is going to move on disk. If we're happy with that, we press yes. And basically gives us some information saying that all of that has moved. And if we now look back on that directory tree again, you can see that here we go. We remember it was the 3FC ID note, and we can see that it's now under notes org example project, because that's our project name, 3FC, blah blah blah. So that really helps to illustrate how the organization system of this works. So the idea is basically at the top level you can, in terms of the kind of the logical arrangement on disk, the notes are gathered or aggregated first by file type, then by project. Now this is the reason, the kind of rationale behind this is really to maximize interoperability with any other software or systems that you're using. So the idea is we can make Wibble work and play nice even if you're using kind of org mode and org roam. It's very easy if we turn the this org directory here as a symbolic link to point to a subdirectory under our org roam kind of directory. Suddenly we then can basically have org mode files that we create in Wibble that will work seamlessly with your kind of org roam setup. And so that's the idea. And similarly for MD, if you use something like I don't know, MindForger or one of the other many Markdown kind of GUI wiki kind of tools, again you can just point it at the MD, and presumably whatever tool you're using can recursively scan underneath there and find all the markdown files. So that's basically why we prioritize first by file type, because the file type will generally kind of constrain the types of tools and software that we can use on those types of files. And then secondary, this kind of next layer of logical organization is via the project, and that could be potentially useful if, for example, you want to classify or organize all of your files for, say, a particular work project or a particular personal project. If the name of the project used for all of those files when you're creating the notes is exactly the same, you know they're going to all end up under the exact same subdirectory, and so if you ever wanted to share those with anyone else, you could simply copy or share that particular subdirectory only, and it's completely easily separable from the rest of your notes. So that's really just an important kind of explanation as to the particular structuring of the notes. Otherwise, the final thing to say is, of course, every note gets its own unique UUID, so there's never going to be any collisions. So even if you have 10 million notes, that's fine. Even if there are 10 million notes all of type MD and general, that would still be fine. They'd happily sit there on the disk and without any collisions. So yeah.